Thank you very much. It's quite the privilege to be able to speak to you all about something I'm so passionate about, which is our body, fearfully and wonderfully made. And it's really incredible, especially in the day and age, as you guys have mentioned, that we're living in right now. Um, that this is the time when we really need to take our health seriously. And we will learn that millions and billions of dollars every year are spent on supplements, medications, fads, trends, and diets. And the reality is that the answer is so simplistic and it's very, very affordable. So that's what I want to share with you today because although we're all very familiar and probably tired of hearing the word COVID, this is not the last mass virus that is going to hit this world. There are many more pestilences, as the Bible talks about, that are going to be here. And what is the answer? What is our best defense in times like these? That's what we're going to talk about today. And so I just invite you to join with me in listening, in participating, as I talk to you about your best defense in this day and age, in this world that we live in. What is your best defense? And you may have some questions as we go. I'm in no rush to leave with you guys today. So if you do have questions as we go, please just put them in the chat and I would be happy to answer them at the end. And I will answer as many as I can. If our time gets short, I will have my contact information there, and you are more than welcome to reach out to me, and we can just connect another way. So let's get right into this today. What is our best defense for our immune system? You know, as mentioned, we are so fearfully and wonderfully made without even thinking about it. Our immune system is hard at work every single day. Our immune system has a vital role in our body to protect us from foreign invaders, pathogens, bad bacteria, viruses. Our body does this without us telling it to do it. It is really incredible. Our white blood cells and our red blood cells are flowing through our body, fighting. They find the disease. They have different roles. Some of them will mimic the disease so that it can attack the disease. It will kill it. It will destroy it. It will send it out of our system. It basically consists of a group of cells, proteins, and organs that work together to protect your body from these germs, viruses, fungus, pathogens. They act as your first line of defense. They recognize, they identify, they neutralize, and they destroy harmful substances that have found their way into the body. Now, when the immune system is working optimally, it goes absolutely unnoticed. Many times you have, and I have, been fighting diseases and fighting pathogens and viruses, and we don't even know. However, when the body is run down, when we are feeling like a cold is coming on or we're not well, that is because our immune system, our defense has gotten weak. The soldiers on the front line, for some reason, have not been armed properly. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, is how can we make sure that these soldiers, these killer T cells, these strong white blood cells that make up our defense are armed and ready to fight, completely unnoticed, silent killers within the body for those viruses and disease that are entering in your system. So there are two sort of subsystems that make up our body's immune system. We have the innate immune system and the adaptive immune system. So generally with the innate immune system, it acts primarily through the cells, the killer cells fighting certain diseases that the body has become accustomed to. But we also have the ability to adapt to new viruses, to find them, to create its own antibody and then inject that into this new invader and destroy it. And the beauty of our human bodies, so fearfully and wonderfully made, is that it then memorizes that exact invader, that exact virus, and creates an antibody that gets stored in your system almost for the rest of your life. Your white blood cells detect foreign pathogens, and it releases cytokines. And these cytokines, these proteins, actually travel through the body and alert the other white blood cells that a virus is here. It is so incredible. You know, whenever you get swelling or mucus, things like that, we think that it's a problem, but that is your body's immune system going to work every day. It creates defense mechanisms. When your body gets swollen in a certain area, it's adding water, it's adding a protective barrier. When there's mucus, your body's creating this protection. However, this is also a sign that your immune system may need some help. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So where is this help, and where can this help be found? Is it in our vitamins and our supplements? Is this where we need it? The vitamin C, the D, the zinc, the B6? I have to tell you that these are incredible for fighting viruses. The truth is that vitamin C is absolutely critical for keeping your immune system strong. It adds incredible antioxidants that actually neutralize free radical damage. And free radical damage comes from any kind of phone, computer software that we use. It also comes from our microwave ovens. We have tons of cell phone poles outside. I mean, those free radical damages your cells, makes your healthy cells that has the right number of protons and neutrons, and electrons, and it starts stealing electrons, and then your cells become free radicals and crazy throughout the body. When you have vitamin C or antioxidants, it neutralizes that, and the cells are no longer out of control. So it's very important that we have vitamin C. Zinc is extremely important for our immune system. In fact, it helps with the absorption of many nutrients, but it also supercharges our immune system it creates a pathway for our immune system to attack the virus. Without vitamin D, we would be extremely sick. It's important for us to have that vitamin D absorption for absorption of calcium, nutrients, and keeping your immune system strong. Vitamin B6 is so important for producing white blood cells and T cells, which regulate the immune responses. So the question is, my friends, is it best to take zinc, vitamin C, B6, and your vitamin D every day? Well, I'm going to tell you that is one of the worst things that you can do. Yes, there is a time in the winter when vitamin D might be necessary, but if you are taking supplements every day, you are actually creating a harm and a problem for your system. So stop giving money to all these pharmaceutical and supplement companies. Stop trying to keep them afloat with your hard-earned dollars. There is a time and a place for supplements, but it is not daily. And I will talk to you about that today. So number one, I want to explain to you that your diet, if it is rich in plant-based foods, I mean, just look at the colors on your screen, your fruits, your vegetables, your cold-pressed juices, all of these things, your leafy greens, your apples, your oranges, your berries, your lettuce, your spinach, your kale, your carrots, the colors that are so beautiful. Different colors have different nutrients, loaded with vitamin B6, loaded with your vitamin C, loaded with your zinc, loaded with your minerals. That, my friends, keeps your immune system strong. So yes, it is extremely important for you to get those nutrients. But I want to suggest to you today that those nutrients need to come from your food and not through supplements. Your body has a hard time taking its nutrients out of supplements. And not only that, but if you are eating these foods, if you have enough vitamin C in your diet and you're taking vitamin C, you are overstimulating your immune system. And then when a virus comes and you're taking that vitamin C, you no longer have the ability to really fight it because your body's been so used to flushing this vitamin C literally into the toilet. So it is a good idea for sure to keep that vitamin C and that zinc on your shelf, no question about it. And take it only when you feel like your immune system is a little weak. Boy, I feel like I might be coming on with something. Now is the time. Take your vitamin C 3 times a day. Get that zinc in you. Eat healthy. Get lots of rest. And there are a few other things that you can do to help with your immune system. So that is the time and the only time. Supplements are good for a short period of time for speedy healing. Now, if you are not eating enough fresh fruits, salads, lots of cooked vegetables, beans, nuts, and seeds in your diet, your immune system will not get strengthened. Everybody has an invisible list in their body of how many nutrients they need every day. And if that doesn't get checked off, your white blood cells will not be strong enough to fight. So it's preventative, which is the key. You want to make sure that every day you are eating enough foods that have vitamin C, D, E, B, K, and all your minerals like your potassium and your magnesium and your right carbohydrates and your proteins. All of these are extremely important, but we must be getting them daily because many of them are water soluble and they get washed out of your system every day. Many of them do get stored in the liver and throughout the body, but most of us, I want to tell you, are malnourished. Most of us are eating foods, my friends, that are heavily processed, that are full of wheat, dairy products, caffeinated, processed food, meat, fish, that are actually creating congestion in the blood and creating such a toxic overload for our liver that our body is so malnourished. Yes, we have enough calories, but we don't have enough nutrients. So we have too many empty calories going into our body every day and not enough nutrient dense food. The reality is that you should be able to, and I should be able to live off a calorie diet that has only under 2,000 calories, believe it or not, and still have the energy, still have the proper weight on our body, and still be able to fight. But most of us are having a high caloric diet every day with very little nutrients to the point that most of us are malnourished, and that's the truth. Do you know, every time we have any kind of wheat products, we create an inflammatory response inside our intestinal tract because wheat is so genetically modified, whether that's bread, whether that's our pasta, whether that's in anything that's made with flour, white flour or 100% whole wheat flour, it's actually creating such an issue. Should you never eat it? I would say you should avoid it as much as possible and only have it once in a while if you have to. You're out somewhere or you're in a situation where that's all you have. Dairy products suppress the immune system, create an acidic environment for your body, whether that's milk, whether that's cheese, whether that's yogurt, whether that's condensed milk, evaporated milk, ice cream, anything that comes from dairy products. It's in your Ovaltine, it's in your Milo. We have it in our creamers, we have it in our cookies, we have it in our treats. Dairy products is breast milk for a baby cow. It was designed with hormones, fats, sugars to take a little baby calf and blow it up to a mother cow or bull very quickly. Imagine what happens when we consume that. I would never call my mother today. I'm almost 50 years old and ask her for her breast milk, but why would I then go to another species and ask that species for their breast milk for my food? Friends, we are creating a major deficiency of nutrients and lots of inflammation, heavy mucus. Dairy products creates allergies, psoriasis, eczema, cardio health issues. It suppresses our immune system. We need to stay far away from
recording
dairy
in progress.
We are done breastfeeding, we do not need any more breast milk. Just a little note there. Also want to let you know that whether it's fish, whether it's chicken, whether it's beef, 40% of animal products is waste in the human body. Your liver, which is cleaning your system and keeping your blood clean, and your life is in that blood, should not be taxed if you want a strong immune system. So you don't want to eat food that's high in waste. What is our meat? What is our fish giving us? So our meat products are giving us protein and a little bit of B12, which, by the way, the only reason why animals have B12 is because they eat from the grass and the dirt. If we eat from grass and grow our own vegetables, a little bit of dirt in there, and we don't mind, and we fast properly, eat properly, we create our own B12, just like all animals do. So really where you get that big array of nutrients is in your plant-based food. That is the reality of all of it. Caffeine is detrimental. It overrides your body's natural ability to give you energy. Alcohol poisons the liver, and all your processed food creates so much inflammation in the body, creates even more toxins for your liver, and then your liver can't do what it's supposed to do: fight diseases, regulate your nutrients, excrete toxins that are slowing your immune system down. So diet does matter. Get an array, a beautiful array of plant-based foods. If you just eat from the beautiful color of the garden rainbow, you will have a beautiful immune system that is strong. You can get enough proteins from your nuts, seeds, your beans. Lots of beta carotene, which your body loves from your orange, green, and your orange vegetables and your fruits. All your green leafy vegetables are loaded with phytonutrients. Your grains, your nuts, your seeds have your B vitamins, your magnesium, your calcium, and your antioxidants rich in phytochemicals that actually empower your white blood cells are found in our green leafy vegetables. So folks, it is so important that not only are we eating an array of foods, but we are also having a good amount of raw food in our diet. Remember that every time you cook that food, it's depleted of many of its nutrients. I'm not suggesting you need to be a raw food eater today, but have a big bowl of fruits before your breakfast item. Wait your hour. Just drink water until you're hungry. Your second meal should come around lunchtime, 2, 3 o'clock the latest, where you have a nice big leafy green salad, your lettuce, your cucumbers, your fresh onions, with just lemon juice, olive oil. Vinegar, like alcohol, poisons the liver. Once your salad is finished, then have your chickpeas, your brown rice, your sweet potato, your cooked vegetables. So you've had dinner at lunchtime, and then in the evening, you are letting your digestive system rest, and we are going to talk about that. And you are allowing your immune system to be strong. So you do want to make sure that you're always having a good amount of raw food, your fruits before your breakfast, your salad before your cooked food, every single day. And, you know, I just want to make sure that I put a disclaimer out here. I am a certified holistic nutritionist, as mentioned. I'm working with people of all sorts of health issues. If you have diverticulitis, if you have Crohn's, if you have IBS, you might not be able to eat a big leafy green salad. Today, I'm not dealing with specific disease. If you have a specific health issue that doesn't allow you to, through allergies or digestion issues, to eat raw foods or eat the way I'm explaining, then you need to get in touch with me, and I'd be happy to set up a consultation. But today I am giving just a general overview of how the average person should be eating. So our friends, I want to bring you to number 2, the second area that you need to know about your health and how to keep your immune system strong. Most of us are sleep deprived. I know that I am sure guilty sometimes, not all the time, because most of the time I get to bed at a reasonable hour. But many times I am tempted to, and I see this happening all over the world with all of my clients, is that whenever we have something to get done, sleep is the first area that we compromise in. This is a dangerous thing. And I know that with some people and our schedules, we have to work nights. But I do want to tell you that we have to follow the circadian rhythm of our body. We were designed, my friends, we were designed in a certain way. If you were a designer, you created this incredible machine. You know exactly how to put the product into that machine for it to work right. You think of a car, if you put the wrong oil or the wrong gas, it's not going to work properly. So if you do not put in this incredible master machinery, if you do not put the right foods in it at the right times, if you do not treat it in the right way, my friends, we are going to have a recipe for disease, disaster in our body, and an early unnecessary death. It is very important for us to sleep. When the body does not get 7 to 9 hours of uninterrupted sleep, automatically upon rising, if you have not had 7 to 9 hours of sleep, your body is going to produce cortisol. Remember this hormone named cortisol, because it's definitely important if you are driving and a dog or a deer jumps in front of your car, you need to slam on the brakes quick. Or, you know, if you're somewhere and you guys are sitting together talking with a friend, 2 chairs, and the chair falls and you go to catch your friend, you need to react quickly in situations. Cortisol is awesome for that. But when you do not sleep, you are going to release cortisol, and that is a dangerous chemical to constantly be released over and over. It suppresses the immune system. It creates inflammation, and it causes a host of other issues. And I want you to know that 7 to 9 hours of sleep, you need that strong, deep REM sleep, which is when the immune system does its most strengthening. But there is a certain pattern and a certain time when your sleep is going to be the most deepest and the most meaningful for your body. Friends, I want to tell you that if we follow the circadian rhythm that our body was designed with, human beings should be sleeping between 9 p.m. and waking up around 4 or 5 in the morning. The reason being is because between about 10 p.m. to about 2 o'clock in the morning is when your body's clock turns on to strengthen your immune system. The problem with most of us is that not only are we awake during those times, but even if we are sleeping, our body does not have the energy to strengthen our immune system. Why? Because digestion requires the most energy of the human body. And most of us, while we're sleeping, we are digesting. It's actually the greatest reason for disease and early death. Dinner. Can you believe it? Dinner. Simply having dinner and eating in the evening is one of the main reasons why people are suffering with death and disease today. And the reason being is that sleep is supposed to be restoration. That rest that we get during the night hours, you cannot imagine how many processes go on. Why is that? Why is there so much repair happening? Because when we sleep, at that time, our metabolism is super slow. What a horrible time. After 4 o'clock, our metabolism starts to slow so rapidly. What a horrible time to put food in our body after our metabolism is the slowest. Your metabolism is fastest in the morning. That's the best time. As your metabolism slows down, your body at night is getting ready for sleep. It is incredible that deep sleep actually involves a slowing down of all the body processes so that the immune system can begin to repair, fight the diseases, heal your body, reduce the inflammation, and get rid of the waste process. That requires a whole lot of energy, but not as much energy as digestion. So if you have food in your stomach when you're going to sleep, those processes are compromised, my friends. The immune system cannot strengthen. The waste system doesn't happen properly. Most of us wake up exhausted because our digestive system has been working all night through. It is important that our body is sleeping with almost no food in the stomach. It is also important that the room is dark because melatonin is produced in the evening, and melatonin needs a dark area. And if melatonin can't be produced properly, friends, serotonin won't be produced in the morning. That's your happy hormone that keeps you alert and happy and feeling good all day long. The room must be quiet because if there's any music going on, if there's any noise in the background, your mind is not at rest. It's processing, processing, processing. The window should be slightly open because that oxygen helps to strengthen your white blood cells so much. Even in the winter, leave your window slightly open and making sure that you're going to sleep on an empty stomach. Sleep is the number one. I mean, think about it. When somebody is sick or they have a fever, they're sleeping so much. They just want to sleep and sleep and sleep because the body's telling them this. The system is saying, go to bed. I have a lot of work to do. You have a fever, you have a cold. You don't feel like eating a big meal. You don't have much of an appetite. That is your body's normal way of saying, stop eating. I need to sleep. I have to repair. I've got enough stored energy to be able to do this work of healing, but I need you to sleep. And my friends, I know we need our nurses and our doctors and other people that work through the night, but I'm going to tell you that may God bless you and may his healing hand just rest upon you in a supernatural way, because anybody that works and is awake past midnight is always going to have a compromised immune system. So if you don't have to be up past midnight, if you can get yourself into bed between 9 and 10 o'clock on an almost empty stomach, you would probably extend your life by many years and avoid many of the diseases that we're seeing today. Number 3, exercise. I want to talk to you about exercise because it is an area that most of us neglect, that we just don't have the time for. Now, with exercise, I want to tell you should come fresh air and plenty of sunshine. There are so many other ways to strengthen the immune system, but don't want to be here with you, although I would like to be here with you, but I know you don't have all day to listen to me. By the way, there are many, many videos on our YouTube page that you can watch for free. Just go to YouTube and search up Energy Shack Juice Bar. We talk about the liver. I've just recently did another one on the immune system. We talk about everything from 5-minute videos to 1-hour videos. So definitely check us out on YouTube. And if you subscribe, you'll be able to know when we upload these videos. Exercise is extremely important, but exercise outside so that you can get the fresh air and you can get the sunshine. Now, if you're using, I recommend a 2-part workout. One where you go outside and you do a power walk, getting the cardiovascular system going, and I'll explain why that's important in a minute. Plus you get sunshine, plus your deep breathing. Although our liver plays an important role of getting rid of the toxins, our lungs purify our blood so much. You know, the blood flows through the body and it goes through the lungs, and it actually drops off lots of toxins in the lungs because it knows that we will breathe them out. When you're exercising, you're doing heavy breathing. So you are actually rapidly releasing more toxins than ever before. When you're doing that indoors, it's not as effective than when you're outside, because when you're outside, you actually get an extra uptake of oxygen and it's not air that's circulating. This is why, to be honest with you, all of this social distancing inside actually makes no sense, because no matter what, we are all recirculating the same air. It is important when we are to be outside as much as possible. It also doesn't make sense that if you're inside your house quarantining, you don't leave. If you have a virus, if you have you're fighting a disease and you are quarantining, leave your window open, get outside, get fresh air. It doesn't make any sense to constantly be breathing in recirculated air. So yes, I love my exercises. I need to lift my weights. I can't do all of that outside. So I do a portion inside, and then I go outside and I just do my power walking, get my fresh air, get my sunshine. That deep breathing is so important. Now, what's also important as far as exercise goes is that you are pumping your lymph system. Your lymph system, that's your home for all your white blood cells, folks. It is so important. Your heart works on a pump. We don't have to tell our heart to beat. Praise the Lord. It does that all by itself. But your lymph system does not have a pump. You pump your lymph system, and you do that in a few ways. One, through exercise. So every time we are moving around, we're pumping our lymph system. That means our white blood cells get moving. Why is that good? You can have a virus hanging out here in your forearm and your white blood cells are all stuck by your feet because you've been sitting all day. Well, when you get up and you start moving, those white blood cells start moving. They find the virus, cytokines are released, and tell everybody. And folks, those cytokines, by the way, those proteins that are those messengers for immune system are produced when? In deep sleep, between the hours of about 10 p.m. and 1 o'clock in the morning. You absolutely need that sleep. And you want to, when you wake up, if you can, get that exercise in to continue that fighting of the immune system. And now you're pumping it. The other thing too is if you add the muscular training with it, you are actually creating your body's ability to strengthen your bones. The blood will flow through your bones better. The calcium will be better absorbed, and your muscles will continue to break and tear, which is a positive thing because then your system works hard at repairing it. When your system can work hard at these healthy reparations that it's doing inside your body, it also strengthens your immune system. So exercise is so important. Fresh air and sunshine should be part of that. What is number 4? It's massage and other therapies. So another way to get your lymph system moving, and I'm sure ladies and probably some of you gentlemen, you're like, yay, I have permission to go get a massage. Yes, you do. It is very important that your lymph system gets pushed throughout your body. Massages will do that. The other thing, though, understanding is that other therapies are important. What kind of therapies? I highly recommend you stay away from acupuncture and other new age therapies, but using massage, using also hydrotherapy. So that's using water to manipulate the blood. When you use water to manipulate the blood, hot and cold showers, your blood vessels constrict and dilate, constrict and dilate. People think I'm absolutely crazy for many reasons, but for this especially is because if someone tells me they're fighting a cold, I say, go home and take a nice hot shower. And after that shower, turn off the hot water and let that cold hit your body. Then put the hot water back on and go back and forth between hot and cold about 4 times. Why should you do this? Because you constrict and dilate the blood vessels, which one starts to expel bacteria, bad bacteria through the pores of the skin, but also it pumps your lymph system as much, if not more than exercise without you actually having to exercise. And so that goes all through the system, your blood, and it finds the issue and it heals. If it's at night, finish with hot and get yourself to bed early, folks. So it's very, very important. The other thing too is that when it comes to massage, it can also help to reduce inflammation that's in your body. And very important is that with hydrotherapy, yes, you're using water to manipulate your blood from the outside, but make sure, folks, you are drinking plenty of water, especially before and after massage, because as your lymph system is pumped, it is using tons of water to push those fluids in that immune system those immune system fluids throughout the body. You can get dehydrated very quickly. So make sure you drink plenty of water, not just getting a massage, but throughout your day. Many people have very thick blood and dehydrated organs and cells because we're just not drinking enough water. Number 5, this is so serious. Gut health is so important for your body's immune system. Did you know that 70 to 80% of your immune system lies within your GI tract? Folks, your intestinal tract is lined with so much bacteria, and in that bacteria houses almost 80% of your immune system and my immune system. Our gut is estimated at housing over 100 trillion microbial cells that create this perfect, beautiful microbiome of gut bacteria that helps us digest food. It helps to eliminate disease. It helps to reduce inflammation. It helps our body absorb nutrients. I mean, the list is endless. These are good bacteria that are actually all over your body, but as mentioned, almost 80% of it is within your digestive tract. Now, how important is it that we are eating foods and eating in the proper rhythm to grow that bacteria, to make sure that bacteria stays flourished and doesn't kill that bacteria? Because guess what? There's another bacteria and many other bacteria that want to take over your immune system, that cause disease, pathogens, invaders, and that can also come from the food we eat. And I want to tell you that most of us have a level of bad bacteria in our body, but the good bacteria overrides that, overcomes that, eats away at it all throughout the day. It's just part of the process. Now, it's very important that our body is being fed properly to create the right kind of environment for this bacteria to grow. I don't know if you know this, but there are things that we can take and things that we do that actually kill that good bacteria. So I want you to understand that anytime you take antibiotics, you are actually radiating the good bacteria in your system. And I get so heartbroken. I'm not kidding. My body, my heart kind of like gets so sad when I hear, I'm talking to a client and they tell me that they had this virus or they had H. pylori, the first round of antibiotics didn't work, so they took another round of antibiotics. And I'm just like, oh, this is like you're telling me a horror story. I don't want to hear this anymore. It is horrible. Antibiotics kill the good bacteria within your body. It's like giving yourself a round of chemotherapy and radiation, which, again, I know that many of us don't know what to do when cancer comes. But when you radiate your body, when you give yourself chemotherapy, you are killing all that good bacteria. You deplete your immune system. Can it grow back? Well, you know, it's so beautiful. Our body fearfully and wonderfully made. Yes, but it takes many, many, many years, almost 10 years to create the proper microbiome to have a healthy system. And yes, probiotics help, but nothing can create that good bacteria like your own human body, the way that it was designed. That bacteria acts as almost like a gatekeeper for the immune system. The bacteria combining with your white blood cells is so important. You know, that good bacteria lets your white blood cells know what is good from what is an invader. Your bacteria inside your stomach gut helps your white blood cells. It houses them in there and gives them a place to live and breed and grow. Without that bacteria, your immune system doesn't grow properly. Your immune system is no longer protected and gets killed and damaged very easily. We must have those trillions of bacteria throughout our intestinal tract for you to absorb nutrients so that even your white blood cells have the nutrients to be strong. So not only antibacterial, not only antibiotics and chemotherapy and radiation, but my friends, sugar. Do you know just 3 tablespoons of sugar depletes your immune system by almost 20%? And that is found in just, a can of pop. A glass of juice, don't fool yourself. Drinking juice is not healthier than a can of pop. It's just non-carbonated. Pop is what it is. I don't care if it's 100% apple juice or orange juice or even a sweetened cranberry juice, because what's happening is you're getting like 3 apples or 3 oranges in one sitting with no fiber to regulate the sugar. So all that sugar gets processed in the body like as if you ate a candy bar. So don't believe the hype. Don't, believe everything you read out there that we need all of these things for our body. You should drink your glass of orange juice. For those who know the ministry of healing and understand the laws of health, if you don't understand the 8 secrets to healing, the 8 laws of health, please go to Energy Shack Juice Bar, EnergyShackJuiceBar.com. Click on consultation videos, and right there for free, I explain the 8 laws of health and the best way that you should eat and live as you were designed by your creator. It is so important. So understanding that heavy metals, chemotherapy, sugar, medication, too much pollution, antibiotics, things like that, also can kill that bacteria in the intestinal tract. And do you want to know what the biggest killer is, folks? I'm going to share it in just 1 minute. The biggest killer for that good bacteria in your stomach gut, I'm going to share that in a moment. But what I do want you to understand is that our intestinal lining in our gut is very delicate. Fasting is very important, and I will explain to you at the end how we should properly be fasting and how we can be fasting every day to allow that good bacteria to grow. If we are constantly snacking all day, we're constantly interrupting digestion. We never give our body the opportunity for digestion to work in its proper rhythm and for the bacteria to grow. If we are constantly bombarding our stomach with food, with digestion, with drinks, with tea, with this, with that, it becomes such a problem, such a chaos for the system. It's like just being thrown snowballs all the time. No chance to breathe, no chance to grow, no chance to do anything. It doesn't get its proper rest. And so then that good friendly bacteria starts to diminish. The pathogens, the bad bacteria, the candida, the H. pylori, they begin to grow. And when the digestive system is affected poorly, I'm going to tell you, your entire body is compromised. When you and I are feeling run down, when you and I are feeling low energy, that's not because of an outside force. That's because it started inside. It didn't start on the outside. And what is the number one and biggest problem for a suppressed immune system and our stomach gut not having enough bacteria, good bacteria? Are you ready? It's not a hamburger. It's not a bowl of ice cream. It is not a cup of coffee, and nor is it a can of Coke. It is not a lack of exercise, and it is not even your late nights, but to some degree it is. My friends, it is stress. I have to tell you that you could eat a Big Mac happy every day, and I'm not giving you permission to do that. You will never do your body as much damage as a healthy eater stressed out. We get worried about everything. Our system wasn't even working today right away. And that created a whole lot of stress for many of us. But I want you to know it doesn't matter what is going on in your life. If you truly trust God, and I don't want to take for granted that, praise the Lord, there's 97 people listening today, that all 97 of you know who God is as your personal Lord and Savior. But I'm going to say it anyways, that the Bible clearly tells us in Romans 8:28 that all things, yes, your broken down car, yes, your lack of internet connection. Yes. Your job loss. Yes. A loss in your family. Yes. A disease that you had no control over. Yes. All things, my friend, work for good in two qualifications: those who love God and those who are called according to his purpose. So I want to tell you that stressing and worrying about things, all we are saying in the face of God is, I don't trust you and I don't believe your promise. And that, my friend, gives us the absence of the presence of God in our life. And that creates so much stress. Every time we are emotionally worked up, every time we have a lack of sleep, every time we are worried, every time we have a negative thought, we are releasing cortisol. We can also release adrenaline. These chemicals are designed for moments in our body when our blood pressure needs to rise and we need to act quickly. Our body then has the ability to flush it out. But when you're having a negative thought all the time, when you're constantly worried about when you are going to be able to pay for this bill, how you're going to get this done, what am I going to do about my sister in Jamaica who's suffering from this disease and I can't get there to help her? And what am I going to do about my child who won't listen, who's still on drugs? How am I going to deal with this situation? When we are constantly thinking about these things, we are releasing cortisol. That cortisol through the vagus nerve goes through our heart, goes through our lungs, and gets dumped, guess where, folks? In our stomach. Guess what cortisol eats and destroys? You got it. All that good bacteria. That's how ulcers are formed. That's how diverticulitis, Crohn's, IBS begin. Anytime someone comes to tell me that they have a digestion issue like that, my first question to them is, what is your stress level like? Did you go through a high emotional stress period? I have never had someone answer me no. Well, I have someone answer me no, but as I unpack their life, they realize or finally admit that yes, they went through a hard time, whether it's family or divorce or relationship or somebody passing in their life, but it's not worth it. I'm not saying there isn't a time for grieving, because there is, but dwelling on negative thoughts, worrying about things that, by the way, 80% of what we worry about is absolutely imaginary. Most of us worry about things before they've even happened. And most of us worry about things that are completely out of our control. This, again, needs to be brought to your mind, this promise that it doesn't matter if the internet won't turn on. It doesn't matter if you're late for that job. Yes, do better with time management, but stressing and worrying about it, rather, how many times have you and I been late for an appointment and we are so stressed about it, we get there and we realize the doctor's late. I'm still fourth in line. All of that cortisol that we release that whole entire time has created an immune system buster, destroyed our good bacteria. And I want to tell you that it has created more inflammation than your body can actually reduce. Stress is so detrimental. We need to, my friends, learn to trust in God. And no matter what happens, just bring it to the throne of grace. If it's your mistake, promise to do better. And make changes in your schedule, in your time management, your procrastination, but don't dwell on negative things. Sleep with the peace to know that God is in control. And even that sister that you can't reach in another country that's suffering, your prayers will fuel more help than 1 ounce of worry. Because tomorrow, God has promised, has got enough worry for itself. Praise the Lord, he's given you life today. I could be all here all day talking to you about stress, but I hope you got the point. I want you to understand that our body was designed in a circadian rhythm. It's very important that as a master designer has created your body and my body, we must eat and live in the rhythm that we were designed. It is so important that we get to sleep by 9 o'clock, be asleep by 10. You should be fast asleep by 10 o'clock. and waking up around 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, having a nice big breakfast. But before you have that, begin with a glass of warm water. If you can put some lemon in it, great. If not, just some warm water and then another glass of water. Your waste system, that process happens all through the night. So you want your system to get flushed through the night. Then have a nice big breakfast. Remember the raw before the cooked. You want to have a big bowl of fruit for breakfast, 2 to 3 cups of fresh fruit, followed by something whole grain. So maybe you have some cooked millet, maybe you have some cooked quinoa, maybe you have a gluten-free slice of toast with avocado, maybe you soak some chia, maybe you scramble up some tofu, maybe you just have yourself a handful of nuts. But stay away from eggs, stay away from meat, stay away from wheat, stay away from sugary things. Have yourself a nice bowl of fruit followed by a breakfast item. Folks, you've got to wait an hour after you eat before you even drink water. Do not eat and drink at the same time. You will mess up the good bacteria flora in your system. So wait an hour and then sip on water, 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 and only water for the next 5 hours. There should be about a 5 to 6 hour space between your meals. Your second meal should come around 2 or 3 o'clock. Again, a nice big salad first. And don't eat just because it's 2 o'clock. Eat because you're hungry. If you want a dressing, use lemon juice and olive oil. Stay away from vinegars, even apple cider. After your salad is finished, don't just have a salad for lunch. Have your full meal. Your lentils, your chickpeas, your red beans, your brown rice, your sweet potatoes, your yam, your squash, your green banana, your dasheen, whatever you want to have. Cook your spinach, your kale, your callaloo. Have a nice big lunch. Wait an hour, drink only water. Guess what? It's 4 o'clock, digestion's slowing down. Your meal is starting to empty at 5, 6 o'clock. All you're having is a cup of herbal tea and you are going to bed early. If you could follow this and fast from like 3 o'clock in the afternoon until the morning, not only will your body be able to do its strengthening processes of your immune system, fighting disease and all of that, but guess what? That good bacteria flora has a chance to grow. When we do intermittent fasting the other way, we don't start eating till 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, then we have another meal at 5 or 6. You are creating a death sentence. You are ending up having all your meals, all your calories top heavy in your day, skipping breakfast, eating a lunch, coming home, big dinner, go to sleep. Wow, that is for sure 100% recipe for disease and honestly early death. So this is the rhythm that we were designed. And if you look at this circadian rhythm, you will see that it makes absolute sense when you should slow down your eating, pick up your eating, drink your water, and go to sleep. I want to remind you, folks, that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. God lives within you. He makes his home in your body. And we should honor our body with everything that we eat and that we drink. We must praise God because we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And he said in his word that if you will carefully listen to the voice of the Lord your God and do what is right in his sight, obeying his commandments and keeping all his decrees, which include not just the 10 commandments, but the physical laws of health. It doesn't make any sense that we would honor and praise a God, but destroy his handiwork. And we, my friends, are his handiwork. He has said that I will not make you suffer any of these diseases that I have sent upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that heals you. But I do want to tell you that we have a part to play. We have a role to play in honoring him and being obedient to the laws of health. We were designed and created to live and eat in the Garden of Eden. The meat that God gave to Noah, that was the emergency diet. Look at those Israelites wandering around in the wilderness. God did not give them any meat. He was retraining their palate, giving them fresh fruits, manna, vegetables, seeds, nuts, beans. They cried for that meat, but that was not the plan. That was never the plan. And we, even though we have access to all of this food on every corner, and can eat whatever we want, we shouldn't. We should live mind, body, and spirit in subjection to God, in obedience to Him. And I can tell you that we will not suffer disease. It's a promise from God. But if you are suffering, I'd like you to reflect today on what I've taught. And if you do need any more help, my friends, this is our website. You are so welcome to reach out to me. We have lots of free information on our website. Just watch that video. If you do need to sign up for a consultation, it's there as well. You can reach out to me. That's my email if we can't get through all the questions. And I hope that not only were you inspired today, but that you have made a decided change to not only make decisions to eat healthier, to strengthen your immune system, but to honor this temple, this incredible, fearfully and wonderfully made body that God has designed so that you too can praise Him, because your soul does know that well.
Amen. Amen.
And
Amen.
thank you so much, Caroline. That was so informative. Information we all need and we should use to maximize our immune system and ultimately our overall health. It is now time for questions. But just to let you know that I hope you were listening very well, because we have some great giveaways, and these giveaways are going to be based on whether or not you can answer some questions from the presentation. We will talk more about that, but for now, we are going to take some questions. And if you are dialing in, press *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute. And if you are using your smart device, you may use the raise hand icon. You may also write your questions in the chat. So if we have any questions, just raise your hand. We do have one question, and that is Deb. Deb, you may go ahead.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for such a wonderful presentation.
Recording stopped.
I just want to know if you could touch on the benefits of unrefined salt and the effects that, like, the magnesium and all those things will add to vitamin C and zinc being more effectively used in the body.
Okay, I'm not
Through like, for example, the use of Celtic salt.
Okay, so first of all, salt does get a bad rap. Many people who have high blood pressure will say, oh, I can't have salt. Salt is usually not the issue. It definitely can play a part. We know we get more thirsty and we need more water when we need salt. So it definitely affects the blood. But I would say that if you have an issue with your thyroid, first of all, you need iodized salt. Many of our salts that are unrefined, like our sea salt or Celtic salt, those are actually usually don't have iodine in it. So if you're suffering with a thyroid issue where your thyroid's under functioning, you will actually, I recommend you just use regular table salt. We should be using salt so minimally. I do personally, and here at the store, use a Himalayan sea salt because it does have more minerals in it. But the truth is the salt is not the answer. It's a small component to the health, but I wouldn't be so fanatical about making sure you're spending lots of extra money on your salt, because we use so little of it that most of the minerals even found in salt can be found in our food. So if you can afford it, for sure, use a pink Himalayan sea salt or a Celtic salt. Those are excellent. But if you can't afford it, you will get enough minerals from your food. What you want to make sure you don't do, because I've met a few clients that have had this issue, is that you don't want to be so afraid of salt that you stop using salt altogether. No salt on your food. That can actually become a problem. Even the Bible says that salt is good. I've watched people not use enough salt, and the fluid in their interstitial cells are very dry. So a minimal use of salt is important if you can afford it because of the minerals. For sure, get the expensive ones, but you don't have to.
Oh, okay, thank you for that. We now have another question. Erica, you may unmute and go ahead, please.
Yes.
My question is, there's a lot of promotion about Cheerio cereal that is good to lower cholesterol. What are your views on that? And another question, what are your views on intermittent fasting?
Okay, so be very careful when you see mass-produced products. Anything packaged is never going to be really good for you. And understand that when we're talking about large companies like Kellogg's or any kind of company, they put lots of money into their advertising. Why are they saying that Cheerios is good for you to lower your heart? Because oats are in Cheerios, and they will help to, oats have a small ability to help to remove cholesterol because they have fiber. But guess what? Your salads have fiber, your fruits have fiber. You don't need oats in your diet to reduce fiber. And let's read the rest of the ingredients on Cheerios. There's sugar in it, there's wheat in it. So Cheerios are not a healthy product to use at all. We have to get past packaging and labeling and look at ingredients. And a whole food diet, which might as well just eat oats if you want the benefits that Cheerios has, because Cheerios has only a little bit of oats, but a lot of wheat, a lot of salt, and some sugar. And it also has chemicals in it to keep that fresh inside the bag. So anytime we open something out of a package, it's always going to be compromised. So you might as well just have your oats in its form. And as I mentioned, intermittent fasting is very healthy, but the right way. So not starting to eat at 12, but intermittent fasting requires 16 hours of not eating. That should begin at 8 or 9 o'clock, you have your first meal, 2 or 3 o'clock the second meal, and you intermittent fast from 3 or 4 o'clock until the morning. Intermittent fasting, the way the world is teaching us, is absolutely backwards and very, very detrimental to our sleep and our health.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I will just take one question now from the chat, and it's from Janelle. What's the best type of wheat to eat?
What is the best type of?
Wheat.
There is no type of wheat that is healthy. So you want to find bread that is free from wheat, and even our rye bread almost always has wheat in it. So if you are going to do any kind of baking or bread making, we sell a beautiful loaf of gluten-free bread here. You're going to want to look for millet flour, buckwheat flour, oat flour. Rye doesn't have it. Spelt is wheat's cousin and is also quite compromised. Brown rice flour. So there are a lot of different types of flours that you can use, but there's no such thing as a healthy wheat flour anymore because it's so genetically modified.
Oh, okay, thank you for that. Shirley, you may unmute and go ahead, please.
I just had a comment on the salt. If you get the Himalayan pink salt from Costco, that is iodized. They have iodine in that.
That's good. Thank you.
And it's also the best value of any place you can buy. Everywhere else charges exorbitant prices for it. Costco does something like 2 kilos for under $10, and it lasts forever because if you don't use a lot of it, it's probably a year's supply for most people. And also, I wanted to refer, if you've heard of the Icon wheat, I heard that has not been hybridized or not been hybridized as much.
So I have, yes, I have had that. I have tried it. I've noticed that it still creates a bit of a digestion issue, but yes, if you can get that, it's mostly imported from Europe. They say that it is the least genetically modified type of wheat. So if you can get that, but the truth is, you know, again, we're trying to stay away as much as we can from processed food and just eating food in its natural forms.
Yes, I agree. I've used it, and I must admit it's very low gluten though, because I found the cake just did not work because it had so little gluten in it.
Right.
Okay, thank you very much. Next question from the chat, and it's coming from Tucson and Natasha. Thank you, Caroline. Looking at the circadian rhythm you had earlier, would you recommend exercise in the morning 6:30 a.m. in the morning 6:30 or in the evening 5?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I do recommend, if you can do it, morning exercise is the best before you have your breakfast. But, you know, there's times when I can't. I got my exercise in this morning, but, you know, on Thursday, I was exercising at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So the ideal would be that you have a good exercise in the morning, and then in the evening, you have a light exercise or even a walk or something like that. But honestly, if you can just get exercise in, that would be a blessing, but morning time is the best.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Next question from the chat, and it's from Jane. How about the fact that because we live so far north and our bodies cannot make vitamin D, is it advisable to take vitamin supplement every day?
So our body stores reserves in the summer of vitamin D that will actually last most people throughout the winter if you are outside in the summer for at least an hour pretty much every day. Most of us don't have that pleasure. So yes, if you are living in the north, in the winter and fall months, you may have to take a supplement. I wouldn't supplement every single day because too much supplement is actually not good for you. It's manufactured, it's processed. So yes, you should take a vitamin D supplement in the winter and fall months, but as soon as that sun gets out, do your very best to get outside, get sunshine every day, because your body will store the vitamin D, and use the reserves throughout the winter.
Okay, thank you. Another question from the chat, Lamian, I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly. Meals should be spaced out 5 to 6 hours. Can you drink your juices every 2 hours during juice fasting?
So if you're juice fasting and only fasting and not eating, you could drink your juice every hour if you wanted to. Just remember that your stomach and your stomach signals are your best gauge. So I just fasted this week, and I was actually, because I had a very heavy workout week, I was drinking a juice almost every hour and a half. I went through 3 liters of juice. I was so hungry on Wednesday fasting. And the Wednesday before, I barely had any juice. It was like almost a pure water fast. So just listen to your body. If you're drinking juice, you drink it when you're hungry. But if you're not fasting and you want to have some vegetable juice to start your day, have it first thing in the morning. Don't drink it between your meals.
Okay, thank you. Next question from Bev G. Can you repeat the plan when we need to have meals during the day?
Sure, yeah. So as far as having meals during the day, this is the way your schedule should look. And again, I know I'm talking to a large audience of a lot of different people. So you might be working night shift, afternoon, evening, morning. I will explain it 2 ways. One, you wake up, you have a glass of warm water. If it doesn't bother your digestive system, put lemon in it. Drink that quickly. Wait about 15 minutes, have another glass of warm water. Wait about 15 or 30 minutes, and then have your breakfast. Remember what I said? It's the raw food before the cooked. So you have 2 to 3 cups of fresh fruit. As soon as the fruit is done, you eat your breakfast item. Don't space any time between them. On your porridge, you can have a small handful of nuts, anything that fits in your fist, and try to stay away from any kind of refined sugars, but use raisins or dates or something like that to sweeten instead if you need it. Once you're finished that big breakfast, you wait an hour to 2 hours, and then you just drink water until you're hungry again, and you should not be hungry for about 5 or 6 hours. If you're hungry by the 3rd hour, that means your breakfast wasn't big enough. If it's 7 hours and you're not hungry, you ate too much food. So about 5 to 6 hours, you should get hungry again, which should be around 2 or 3 o'clock. You have a nice big leafy green salad. And when the salad is finished, you have your full cooked meal. You wait 1 to 2 hours and then just start sipping on water. If you're hungry at 5, 6, or 7 o'clock, have something small, maybe an apple and some walnuts, maybe a small bowl of soup. If you're a very active person and you have an active job, maybe you do need a small meal in the evening, but it should be the lightest. If you're not hungry, most people are not, just have a herbal tea at night and get to bed early. The other way you can do this, I'm not trying to confuse anybody, but in the morning, you can switch those meals. So I have a very busy day. So I do my workout. When I finish my workout, I have my salad meal in the morning. I wait an hour to 2 hours, drink only water. And in the afternoon, I have my fruit meal, simply because my afternoon doesn't stop until about 3, 4 o'clock. That's too late for me to have a salad and cooked meal. But fruits digest quickly. So I have my fruit meal second. And I have my main course in the morning because that keeps me all the way till 4 o'clock. So it doesn't matter how you flip those meals, but you eat only when you're hungry. It should be 2 meals a day. You should be done eating by 3, 4 o'clock the latest.
Okay, thank you very much. Next question from Beverly Chung Brown. Caroline, you mentioned that antibiotics harm our gut flora. Are you advising against taking antibiotics for infection?
I would say that you have to do what you have to do if you have an infection, but there are natural remedies that you can use first. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the age-old recipe of a natural penicillin, where you take an onion, you take a full onion, you take about 4 cloves of garlic, you blend that with an orange, a lemon, and a grapefruit, and their washed peels, and you blend that with water. My kids have never had to take antibiotics for any infection except one of them. She was insistent that her friends, it doesn't even matter. We got her the antibiotics because she insisted, and she couldn't even swallow them. So she ended up going back on the natural penicillin. But you can absolutely take natural remedies which will work better in your body. Now, if you don't know the natural remedies, then you don't have a choice but to take the antibiotics. But I would highly recommend you do your homework, you do your research, because there is a natural remedy for every single disease. In fact, the whole pharmaceutical industry started off by natural remedies. That's what it was. And it turned into witchcraft, and it turned into sorcery, and it is to what it is today. So there is a time and a place for Western medicine, but 90% of the people using Western medicine don't need it. And that is my personal estimation from all the clients I've talked to. And that's what I've deducted from over the years. Elaine, you can't see it, but there's a private message. I won't mention the person's name, asking why I recommend no acupuncture. I am speaking for a church, so I'm going to speak very openly. I don't normally talk about these things to my normal followers at the Energy Shack, because it's not always a Christian group, and maybe some of you listening here today are not Christian, and that's okay. But I am going to speak on a very Christian matter. So acupuncture has got extremely pagan roots, and it was used originally to allow spirits to enter into the body through the holes that the Western medicine would put. So they, of course, would be welcoming good spirits into the body through the acupuncture. But you do not want to, and I do not want to, go into pagan rituals and welcome any demonic forces into our body. And when you're literally physically making holes, the body tells us not to make marks or anything on the skin. I believe that we need to stay clear away from modern medicine and stay clear away, not just from modern medicine, but from spiritualistic pagan practices. That's why I don't encourage people to do yoga and many of the other practices that are here today.
Okay, thank you for that. Another question.
Elaine, excuse me, we have 2 raised hands.
Yes, I was just going to do this question. Yeah, let me just finish this question and then I get to the raised hand. Okay. From Ivan and Erwin, I know it's recommended to sleep with your windows open, but what if you have a house alarm in your home, or if someone is living in an unsafe neighborhood?
just be prayerful about it. I'll be honest with you. Myself and my husband have this battle all the time. He doesn't like the window open. I like the window open. So he's the head of the home. He wins. So I'm not allowed to sleep with my window open. But I drive with my windows down in my car all the time. So if you can't, you can't. That's not a battle that I'm willing to fight. We've lived in certain houses where he hasn't felt such a draft from the window and he's okay with it open, and we're moving soon. So hopefully my next house will have a window open. So if you can't, you can't. But if you're able to, do it.
Okay. Thank you for that. Elaine McLeod, I think you had your hand up earlier on. Have you changed your mind or you still have a question?
Yes, I did. Could you please repeat the items for the natural antibiotic, please?
Yes. You know what I'm gonna do? While we're talking, I'm going to put it in the chat. I'll put the recipe in the chat, okay? I'm just gonna grab out the recipe, so we'll go on that again.
Okay,
we'll go to other questions and I'll send it over to you.
Okay, great, thank you. For Shirley, you may unmute and go ahead, please.
Yes, my question is, you said use onion. What onion should we use? The purple one or just the regular onion for the antibiotic?
A regular cooking onion, and wherever you can, try to use organic vegetables. If you can't, it's okay. Bless your food and eat it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Next question from the chat. Since fruit has a lot of natural sugar, is juicing fruit daily healthy? And this is coming from Ramelia.
Yeah, juicing fruit daily is not healthy. Even if you're cold press juicing it, it's not healthy to have juice. You should be eating your fruits. Smoothies are not even a good idea. I know I own a juice bar, but you want to be having you want to juice vegetables and not fruits. Once in a while, if I'm doing a long fast or I want a little bit of a treat, I may have one of our I may have like a fruit juice. We make a pineapple-ade here with turmeric and pineapple and orange, but that's a treat for once in a while. We also make a lemonades here, which is very, very low in sugar. So a little bit of that in the morning is okay. But you don't want to get in the habit of juicing your fruits. You want to eat your fruits. And if you are going to drink a juice, it should be vegetables, and you don't want to mix your fruits and vegetables together.
Okay, thank you.
I put the recipe in the chat.
Great, thank you. Next question from Apple Creek AV. Do you have any information on how white noise, in quotations, affects sleep? Is it a sleep disruptor too?
So it's a slight disruptor, but it also does help for some people. So I don't have enough scientific evidence, but I will tell you that any kind of sound, and I know the white noise gives off different vibrations to the nervous system, but any kind of noise is going to be a disruption. So if you can sleep without it, do it. But if you don't sleep very well and white noise is all that helps you, then that's what you have to do.
Okay, thank you. We have a lot of questions in the chat. I don't think we're going to be able to get through everything because we just have about 8-10 minutes to go. However, I have 2 hands up. I'm going to take those 2 hands and we have some giveaways to do. So let me take the hands now. Shirley, you may unmute and go ahead.
Yes, thank you for a great presentation, Carolyn. On the rare occasion that I've had an infection, the last time I did this, I used garlic. I took 3 cloves a day with food. Okay. Well, I know I shouldn't take it on an empty stomach, so I had something small with it. However, at the end of the week, I went to church and I hugged my friend. She said, "You've been eating garlic," and it had come through my skin. And I of course, I didn't think about that. How can I reduce the smell or get rid of the smell? I love garlic, by the way, so, you know, I eat it on everything possible. Could parsley juice or just eating the parsley raw help that?
Well, if you roast the garlic, many of the properties that give it its antibiotic power are actually not destroyed, but it kills the flavor. If it's in the mouth, if you chew on grapefruit seeds, it will take the smell out of your mouth. But the reality is garlic and onions are just so potent, but yes, they come out through the pores. So there's not a lot you can do. Parsley juice is great, but nothing's going to heal you like garlic.
Yes, hi, Carolyn. Your presentation is great as usual. My question is, I do like a protein shake after my workout. Is that recommended? And if so, the proteins that is advisable to use. Thank you.
Okay. So the question would be, are you hungry after you work out? So it doesn't make any sense to put something in your stomach if you're not hungry. What people don't realize is that proteins pool. So you need all 8 amino acids to make a complete protein, but those pool in your system. So some of the amino acids you got from your breakfast or from your lunch, or even from yesterday, are pooling until they come together to make a complete protein. So while you're working out, your body has been putting proteins together. So you don't need to have a protein shake right after you work out. And to have a protein shake right after you work out, just to have one, is a bad idea. So if you're working out, the best thing to do is to work out on an almost empty stomach. And when you're finished, you have your meal. So if you were working out in the morning, you have your breakfast right after. If you were working out in the afternoon, it would be better to work out just before you were hungry for your second meal, and then you have your second meal. What happens to me sometimes is that I can't get to my exercise until 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. And then I work out and I come back and now I'm really hungry when I'm normally not hungry at night. Those are the times when I may have a plant-based protein shake. And I would recommend you use hemp or a pea or a brown rice protein. Stay away from soy isolate and do not touch whey. I hope that helps.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I want to thank everyone for their questions. However, Caroline, would you be able to repeat how the others who didn't get their questions in, how they can contact you, if that's allowed?
Yes. So I'm just going to type it in the chat, info@EnergyShackJuiceBar.com. And that goes directly to me. And I see EnergyShackJuiceBar.com. Okay, so if you go to the website, EnergyShackJuiceBar.com, and if you also go to, you can click on the video, you can fill out an intake form. You can also email me at info@EnergyShackJuiceBar.com, and you can also call me. So 697-637-6755.
Back and forth, yeah.
And I also just want to let you know that there's a lot of good questions here coming in the chat. If you have any allergies towards foods that you can't take, you have to talk to me directly. I just had a woman come through our program that couldn't eat anything raw, no lettuce, no blueberries, no nothing. And within less than 30 days, she's eating blueberries, she's having her salads. Like, we can help reverse your issues, but I have to work with you. Directly. 30-minute consultation. If you fill out the form and you put Apple Creek at the bottom, I will waive your consultation fee. So you can get a free consultation because you were here today with Apple Creek. But that is only going to be valid for the next 48 hours. So for those who have this recorded and watching recorded, it won't be valid. But if you fill out a consultation, I will waive that $35 fee and do your consultation for free. Just write Apple Creek when it says, "Where did you hear about us?"
Okay, right. Thank you very much.
Okay. What a wonderful time we had with you this morning. My name is Glenn. I am the leader of the team that is putting this on today. And I'd like to thank Carolyn for her insightful conversation with us. I know there are numerous questions still unanswered or waiting to be answered, but as she said, you may get information, more information from her by her email address. Is it info@energyshackjuicebar.com? You have a cell phone number there. And also, you can always contact us, that is Upper Creek, send us your information. Now, remember, all people who have been contacted or will be contacted or need to be contacted, we are suggesting that you use the email provided, personalministries@uppercreeksda.com. Use that to get your information, your contact information to us. I want to thank Carolyn again for the wonderful presentation, and we may have to ask you back some other time.